Hello everyone, welcome back to another weather video. Today we'll be taking a look at yet again another update at our upcoming winter forecast here, as now on your screen is our Siberian and North American snow growth, and later on we'll be taking a look at our North American and Siberian temperature anomalies, and then later on our teleconnections at the end of the video. Now on your screen is a day ago, not currently updated as of today, September 22nd, 2025, and notice there is snow in this region that I'm highlighting in Siberia and central Russia, and also in this area of Canada next to Greenland. I want you to take a look at these two areas and compare it to this day last year. Notice there's not as much snow in Siberia and Canada. As of right now, we are off to a fast start in both of these areas, which is always a good thing when it comes to winter. If you start off with a rapid snow growth in Siberia and northern Canada, that usually translates into winter a fast start for North America. It doesn't really translate to an eastern fast start, it just translates to a very fast start to North America. But once again, if we take a look at 2024, which is on the screen now, and then transfer back to 2025, that is a very good start. We just gotta hope it doesn't melt and it continues to pile up the snow in these two regions. Now if we take a look at our GFS model here, showing 384 hours out, predicting our future snow totals across North America and Siberia, you can see most of the snow wants to fall in this region, eastern parts of Siberia. And if you were to go back to our Rutgers snow and ice growth here, you can see this is the one part of Siberia that doesn't have much snow. So that is a very good thing that the GFS is showing. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but that's a very good sign from the GFS. And also down here by north and northeastern part of Canada, even into northern parts of Quebec here, it shows an extension of that snow, which is always a great news if you're an eastern snow lover, if the snowpack gets down to eastern Canada and stays there. Now you also have some snow into western Canada and even into the mountains of the US. You can see in the Rockies over here in Idaho and Montana. That is also pretty cool to see. Also, this is in centimeters. This is 10 to 1 centimeters, so this is not 150 inches falling in some parts of Siberia. I just want to keep you guys noted on that. And if we switch to the European, which is only out to 360 hours, it's not as optimistic as the GFS, but you still have some snow falling in eastern Siberia. Definitely an extension of our snow growth in Siberia, which is always good, and also in northern Canada. Not as much into Quebec, but definitely some snow into northeastern Canada. But unlike the GFS, the European has more snow in the western side of North America, such as Alaska, Canada, and probably the most northwestern parts of Washington. And it even has more snow into the Rockies in Colorado and Wyoming. So definitely something to keep a note of, something to watch. If the snow definitely wants to form more over here later into September, into October, that is a great thing. Once again, more snow the better. But if it doesn't want to form over there, that's not really a big deal yet. If you are entering November without a nice snowpack in northeastern Canada, then we'll officially have to start worrying about that. Now on your screen here is the 2-meter temperature anomaly. So pretty much this is temperatures at the surface. I want to keep you guys noted that this is in Celsius, so 0 degrees Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit in Fahrenheit. So 0, the cold blue, the dark shade of blue that's pretty much in the Arctic Circle and Siberia and Alaska, is 32 degrees. Notice how it's mostly contained in this region right here. This is pretty much where your 32-degree line is, besides the Rockies and the higher mountains in Western Pacific. But as we continue throughout time, you can see it starts to gradually creep in south on both sides of the globe, even into, let's see here, you can see that it gets almost as far south. It actually does get into most northern parts of China, 32 degrees, and it does get into northeastern Canada here, which is always a great thing to eventually start building that cold air further south and south, but more as time goes on into September and October. Obviously, you need it to be 32 degrees or below for it to snow, so that's always a good thing. And then by the time we run out of time here, you can really see where probably all the snowpack is at this time. This is where at least you have a chance to snow when it's 32 degrees in this general area, which is definitely a lot better than what we started with. You can see how much smaller it was 384 hours ago. This is currently now, and this is what the GFS is predicting 384 hours out. Once again, it's the GFS and it's predicting it 384 hours out. That's definitely not reliable at all for any model to predict it that far out. But I'm going to show you the same thing with the European. Notice how it's all locked up in here, all the cold air with the 32 degrees or below. And then as we fast forward throughout time, you can see how it gradually starts to escape that region and become a lot colder throughout time. You can notice how far south it gets in the mountains down by China and India and Pakistan, and then all the way down into northeastern Canada. So that's always a great sign to see our cold air eventually creeping south on both sides of the globe. Another thing I want to take a look at is our 7-day change in sea surface temperatures anomalies. Notice our La Nina is under attack by a lot more warmer water, at least on the central and eastern side of our Enzo region. If this continues, I would believe that our La Nina would not form into La Nina and will be a La Nada, which is 0.5 degrees Celsius, either negative or positive in the region, and not go anywhere above that. So a La Nada is La nothing, pretty much, and you would have no effects from this region in our winter. Our blob in the Pacific Northeast has started to cool. That's probably because our ridging has subsided and a lot more troughing has allowed to come into the west and more ridging out east. So that has cooled off a little bit. But also our region by Japan and Korea and China has cooled off a little bit too. I expect this trend to probably reverse by the time we get to, let's say, mid-October, late October, if not a little bit earlier, but that's always a possibility that it could stay like that. And obviously this is our La Nina that has been below 0.5 ever since pretty much August 12th. So if we get to October 12th and it's still below 0.5, that is a La Nina officially, but it's been struggling recently. It did get almost down to 1, then it came back up. Now it's just squibbling around maybe 0.85 or 0.9 degrees Celsius in that region, but it's very weak at the moment. So if that continues to warm a little bit on the eastern side of our Enzo region, that could be very interesting to watch down the road. Finally, I just want to take a look at our teleconnections here. On your screen now is the PNA, which is a ridging out west and by, let's say, Western Canada, Alaska, and the Pacific West Coast. You can see it was positive for a long time. That caused our warm waters off the coast of Alaska and Canada and the West Coast to get so warm. But you can see now it's collapsing down to negative, but quickly spikes back up by October 1st, and then stays pretty much neutral or positive all the way to mid-October. Notice by this time you should have more ridging out west. If we go back and take a look at our NAL, which is blocking by Greenland, it has been negative since about early September, which has probably kept us cool in the East Coast for a while now, but has gone positive. We'll stay positive or just slightly positive, and then by the time mid-October comes, it looks like to either be neutral or going negative. Notice 2 teleconnections look to be favorable for the East Coast by mid to late October, and the third one also agrees, the AL, which is blocking in the Arctic region when negative. You have blocking in the Arctic region now positive, projected to go to neutral, then positive, then either stay neutral or go negative. So if I were to guess where we could see more cold being built into this side of the world, it would probably be around October, mid-October to late October, because if you have a negative AO and negative NAO over here, you got 2 blocks up here that forces cold air to come down into the US. But where exactly? If you have a positive PNA like we're projected to have by mid-October, that gets forced down to the eastern part of the US. So I do believe snow growth will eventually grow in that part of the region right over here, which is great news for the eastern part of the US, or you can even say Midwest. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will keep you updated with this forecast weekly. I plan on to do that weekly winter outlooks just to keep you guys notified and updated with everything to come. And I hope you all have a wonderful